Welcome into another episode of the Laser Bros podcast. We are your hosts, Logan and Luke Lazarchik. Another week of football. I think this is probably the best week of football overall. We're kind of seeing teams separate themselves. We're kind of seeing better product. What was your biggest takeaway from watching? We watched all the games together, and you picked up the watching, and we'll talk about some of those. We picked him up and played him in our fantasy league.
That was a mistake. But just looking at the games, there's a lot of high scoring games. I mean, you had Ravens, Cincy, Colts, Jags, Giants, Seattle was solid scoring. Falcons, Bucks from Thursday night was solid scoring. So you're sort of seeing some offenses really pick it up.
Yeah, and I think that the main reason why we don't see offenses really play well in the beginning of the year is because I believe it's because of lack of preseason and all that, and teams are still trying to find their footing. But yeah, this past week I think it was the best week of football so far. I think there's actually a lot of good games. A lot of games, coming down to the wire. I mean, we had 3 of the 4 that we are talking about today all had a 3-point margin to end the game. So I'm excited for what week 6 is going to present to us. I know tomorrow, big division game. We'll talk about that as well. But let's start with the week 5.
Oh, wait, hold up. I just saw that I guess Nico Collins just got put on IR. Just thought that was worth mentioning right now.
Yeah. Really? Wow. So that hamstring injury must have been
I think they're playing it safe
on that touchdown.
Yeah, I think they're playing it safe, which I respect.
Tell me who their next 4 opponents are real quick before we get into I'm not worried about them this week. The thought was that he was going to already be out this week anyways. So, I'm not too concerned about the Texans this week. But moving forward,
so he's missing 4 games: Patriots, Green Bay, Colts, Jets. Then after that, it's Detroit. So those 4, they could win all those games without Nico. I mean, Green Bay gets a little tougher, and Jets good defense, and who knows what the Jets are going to be in 4 weeks? I don't think anyone really knows. I think the Texans are fine. This is maybe where I'm not a fan of the 3 wide receiver when you're going for 3 guys, but this could be the advantage. When one's hurt, you still have 2. But they'll be fine. They're a good team.
Well, speaking of the Texans, that will be the first game we talk about. The Texans and the Bills. For me, I think the score doesn't really tell the whole story. I don't think this game was as particularly close as the score tells. I think the Texans outplayed the Bills from start to end, and I think the Texans at the end of the game kind of tried to give that game away with C.J. Stroud having 2 turnovers. I believe one of them was in the red zone. It was a pretty ugly interception. For me, the Bills, I think this week's a big week for them because I think if they lose, stuff can really go downhill from there. And we've always been on, I think you're much higher on the Bills than I am. At this point, I think they win the division because everybody else's division is just not that good. But for Super Bowl aspirations, it's tough to see with their current game plan, their current situation, that they can achieve that. And it's early in the season, so they can turn things around. But the receiving core is an issue, especially Shakir's out, and it's Josh Allen was 9 of 30 this game. It was really telling of what this offense is at this point.
Yeah, Shakir, you can't. It's wild how important Shakir is, but I truly think he's that important to the offense because without him, you're running Coleman, who's a rookie and showing some promise, but I think we could see he's not a great down-to-down receiver. He has these plays which are nice, and then Curtis Samuel really hasn't been much, so I think that's probably been kind of disappointing. At that point, you're looking at he's throwing the ball to Matt Collins and MVS, so I think one way or another, I'm not saying they need to go get Devontae, even though I think that'd be awesome, but you may need another receiver. Just if you want to beat the Chiefs, you may need one more receiver. I would say that the Bills maybe possibly need a receiver more than the Chiefs do to make the Super Bowl, just because the Chiefs, they just get everything to work, and the Chiefs' defense is legit. So, and the Bills' defense actually playing pretty well, but it's definitely a concern. And on the Texans side, they definitely outplayed them. I'm still not super impressed, but that's okay because it's still early and you're winning games and you can get better as the season goes on. But like right now, I'm just still not impressed. I think it's weird watching them because I mean they probably should have lost to Jacksonville, and then they beat the Bills when like the Bills had a chance to win and Josh Allen's threw for like less than 33% completion percentage. But now losing Nico, maybe gets Tank Dell going. As fantasy member, owner of Tank Dell, it's been quite annoying. But this is his week.
We also have him in Dynasty, so it's been
it's been annoying. But hopefully that will for them get Tank Dell going. I think these are still two legit teams in the AFC. Just a weird game, I'd say.
I mean, for me, I'm kind of worried. I'm not full on panic for the Bills at all, but there are some worrisome signs. I mean, the last 2 games they've played 2 good teams, 2 playoff teams, and they've been outplayed thoroughly in both games, in my opinion. I mean, the Texas game, it was a closer game, but in my opinion, I don't think it was that close as the score tells. And Baltimore, they got dominated. And the one question I have is if let's say you go out of Devontae Adams, because the big thing with Josh Allen was did he like last year why they got rid of Stephon Diggs after last season heading into this season was Josh Allen feeling that he had to get the ball to Stephon Diggs. Now Stephon Diggs has a way different attitude than Devontae Adams. I think Adams would be as outspoken.
I think that's the thing to me.
Yeah, he won't be as outspoken as Diggs, so maybe that's just something I'm looking too closely at. But and another thing, like Sean McDermott, I mean, we've seen this late in games in crucial situations. He kind of throws the game away. Like I forgot how much time was left on the clock on their final possession, but they just ran all 3 times or run on first down and see like if you break it loose on the run, then maybe okay now you can go more aggressive. But they threw the ball 3 straight times, and the Texans, I mean, they settled for a 59-yard field goal. It wasn't like they even got close to really good field goal range. So maybe if you do run the ball all 3 times, they don't even get an opportunity in the first place. So I don't know. The Bills right now, for me, they're kind of a tough team to trust, and that's been kind of for me the last couple of years is that they're so up and down, and you really don't know what you're going to get from week to week.
No, yeah, and they have Von Miller. He served his first game, 4-game suspension. Is Milano going to come back this year? I know people.
They said November, December. Like that's another thing. Injuries on the defense side of the ball are also a huge issue.
I feel like they've done an okay job defensively. I think that they've found a way to stay afloat defensively. They just need to get the offense back going. If Shakir is really like he's been pretty good, if he's that good and he comes back, then I feel fine about him. But
how did you feel
to beat the Chiefs or go to the Super Bowl? You may need another receiver.
No, that's my thing. Like winning the division, I don't think it's gonna be a problem. Unless they lose. If they lose this week, then it'll be a different story, I think. But they should have no problem winning this division just because of all the question marks and the other teams just in totally different situations. But for me, their goal is not to win the division every year. That's a stepping stone into achieving their goal, which is to win a Super Bowl. And I don't see them getting to that point. Like I don't see for me, the Chiefs would have to lose before they play them in the playoffs because I don't see the Bills beating the Chiefs in the playoffs. They've come so close. They've outplayed the Chiefs. They outplayed the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game a few years ago. And then last year, I thought Josh Allen was really good in that game, and they still found a way to lose.
Yeah.
So for me, I think they're a top 3 team in the AFC right now. Well, actually, I probably have Texas at 3 at this point.
Yeah, I think you probably
Bills at 4. But I don't know if they're a Super Bowl. I don't know if they can get to the Super Bowl. I don't know if they can make that run. And Josh Allen,
still think that's fully in the cards. I don't think that's out of especially this year. I think it's in the cards.
Well, I don't think you can take the Bills out. I don't think it ends up happening.
Okay, yeah, but that's not like okay. If you're just not picking them, that's one thing. Saying it can't happen is another.
Yeah, I probably should have phrased that differently. But yeah, I think it's gonna be tough for them to, and we'll see because the Josh Allen concussion thing, that was a weird thing. Like I thought
we haven't heard anything. I mean, yeah,
no, we haven't heard anything either. But I mean, I don't know, and I don't know. I'm not a doctor or anything, but I don't know if there's a correlation between getting like if you get knocked out, are you for sure concussed, or is it you're knocked out and doesn't mean concussion? But yeah, it's him and Justin Fields. Those 2 situations were pretty weird situations. Just watching how those 2 unfolded. Let's move to the next game. I think this is the best game of the week. Both quarterbacks, I think they combined for 9 total touchdowns, I believe, or 9 passing touchdowns. Lamar and Joe Burrow. Man, the Bengals, I mean, their offense is averaging, I think, over 30 points a game, and they're 1-4. And I think they're going to continue to play really well offensively, but I think that defense may hold them back. And I'm not going to count out the Bengals yet. I still think they have a light schedule, but I think they're in dire trouble. If they lose this week, I mean, I think they're done.
I mean, yeah, if you lose this week, you're done. I don't like doing that, as you know, but if you lose this week, you're done. Against the Giants, who did have impressive win against the Seahawks, watching Dane Dimes ball out. Just had to mention that real quick. But you know, I felt like a lot of people they're coming away from this game and like, oh, the Ravens are having like the Ravens defense isn't great and they went away from the run and stuff. It's like they went away from the run and Lamar was great at passing. And I mean, it's really wonky at the end. I mean, I think that we saw Lamar had that fumble, which was weird. And then Zach Taylor decided, hey, we're just going to say Evan McPherson's going to hit a 50-plus yarder when we have Burrow, who's feeling it, playing.
Such bad play calling.
Just like you have two receivers, go throw a slant to Chase and go get a first down. You're fully capable. You're acting like you have the Chiefs or Bills weapons. And you're like, that no one may be open on 3 straight plays. It's like, no. You have you have an insane receiver and a really good receiver.
I think Jamar Chase had almost 200 yards receiving.
No, that was so stupid. Like, pass the ball. But I mean, the Bengals' offense is legit. I still think they'll turn it around, and I think if I had to say by the year they're fighting for a playoff spot. It's hard to pick the playoffs right now, but their defense is bad. Like, the defense is bad. As I said before the year, they didn't have many. Like, tell me their stars. Like, they have Trey Hendricks. Their one defensive star wants to be traded or
and I think Dax Hill also picked up an injury in this game.
Yeah, I think I saw he's out for the year. I think he tore his ACL. So, yeah, I mean, you have Logan Wilson, who I like, but like Taylor Cameron Britt, fine player, talks a lot, not great. Sam Hubbard's fine. I mean, but he doesn't do much. I mean, I want to check their defensive stats here, but their problem. I think the Ravens. I know the pass defense is not looking good, but they have talent. They have Humphrey, they have Nate Wiggins, who's young, they have Hamilton, so I do think that will improve. And then I think the offense is legit. I think the play calling's better. Sometimes you go away from the run, but Lamar still looks really good. And if you're taking away the Chiefs out of the discussion, I mean, I think Lamar could throw on anyone at any time. It just the Chiefs stuff is weird with Baltimore and Buffalo, and I feel like we're saying it a lot, but they're just like the Chiefs are just the overwhelming thing. But just take that away, and Lamar looks great. Henry's going to run for like 1,400 yards. I still like the Ravens a lot, and the Bengals need to figure it out, and they are officially in must-win territory this week. I'm going to check their defense stats.
I know you were talking about the Ravens defense, and I'm going to read some stats out for you from last year and this year, and you just let me finish the reading stats, and you can react however you want. So, like last year, opponents' points per game, they finished first. Opponents' yards per play, they finished third. Passing yards per game, they finished sixth. Opponents' passing touchdowns, they were tied for second. Opponents' passer rating they would finish first. So they were a top 5 defense in all those categories almost. This year, opponents' points per game, they're 26th. Opponents' yards per play, they're 25th. Opponents' passing yards per game, they're 31st. Opponents' passing touchdowns, they're tied for 25th. And opponents' passing rating, they're 25th. And them and the Panthers are the only 2 teams in the league that given up 25-plus points in 4 of the 5 games. Their defense maybe could turn around, but right now they are not a good defense. I know you think that they are still a solid. Right now, I do not believe they are a good defense, and I know that they're the best defense against the run. But in the AFC against these quarterbacks, you're going to have to stop the pass. And they've there was games like the Cowboys game, they had no business even being competitive in the fourth quarter. The Raiders game, they blew in the fourth quarter. It's a passing league, so you have to be at least somewhat competent against the pass. So I'm still worried about this defense. I know that you.
I mean,
have
here's the thing.
But
what quarterbacks have they faced? They faced Patrick Mahomes, best quarterback in the league.
I agree with you.
Allen, the second best quarterback in the league. Burrow, considered top 5 in the league. Dak, a very competent quarterback. I think around top 10. I don't think he's top 10, but he's close. And then the Raiders game, that just went to hell. And I don't know what happened. They had that game. That was just one of those weird games. And I just heard. So yes, it's not great right now, but also Burrow Chase and Higgins were just feeling it. And that happens when you're facing probably the best quarterback receiver trio in football. I'd have to think about it, but it's
I
definitely
think
up
they're the
there.
best.
No,
Who else would you put? Who else would you?
No, yeah.
I don't
I
think there's
mean, you
another
think
trio
about
that's close to
you
that. To be
think
quite honest
about
with
like
you.
the Texans with Stroud and but Tank Dell and
Yeah, but Dell hasn't looked great, and you're not a huge Stephon Diggs guy.
yeah. Yeah, so they're probably the best. So you've just been this is what you've been dealing with, and I think they'll get better. They're the Ravens. And the quarterbacks they face Jaden Daniels, maybe the hottest quarterback in football, outside of Burrow. And then you face Baker, maybe the third hottest quarterback outside. So they have a couple weeks to still. I mean, they're going through the quarterback ringer, and then you play Watson, then you play Bo Nix, who's fine. You do play Burrow again, but then you play Field/Watson, Herbert's. They play a lot of tough quarterbacks. More look at this, but they're going to be. I think that's helping them, and by the end of the year, I think they'll be okay. I'm just not that worried. They're the Ravens. Their defense not something I'm going to worry about. They have talent at the back end. They probably just need to get to work altogether, and I think they'll figure something out.
Is Lamar the MVP right now? I mean, I know
have
the
no idea
3 and
who the
2.
MVP. I have no idea who the MVP is.
I mean, I think
It was
I think him and
Allen,
Jaden
and then
Daniels
it's
have probably
clearly
been the
not.
best. Well, I don't think it's Allen right now.
No, it's not Allen anymore. I think you have to give it to Daniels.
I was about to say I think it's Lamar and Daniels right now, and Daniels maybe you give him a slight edge because of what he's doing with the less and kind of his being a rookie as
Stroud
well.
is a solid pick right now. Mahomes is still plus 230. It's like, does Mahomes have the same amount of picks as interceptions?
No, he has 6 touchdowns, 6 picks, and I think he has
it's like
barely over 1,000 yards.
It's like this is ridiculous, and like the running game is the best part of the offense.
I'm telling
right
you
now.
what, if the Bengals were like 3 and 2, Joe Burrow, I think he has the most passing yards. He has 12 touchdowns and 2 picks. Like Burrow's been really good this year.
I also think Purdy would have a shot if they didn't have the wonkiest endings on God's green earth. They should be 4-1. They missed a field goal against the Rams, and then their field goal kicker got hurt, and they don't look great on defense. And
their defense looks terrible.
I think Purdy
not terrible, but it's pretty bad, and they lost Halafunga for another 4 weeks.
I mean, I think Purdy would have an argument for MVP because he's had a lot of injuries to deal with. I think it's so weird. I think he looks so much better than last year, but they're 2-3 somehow. I think Purdy, I think he'd be up there for me, but they're 2-3, so he can't. But they're such a weird team.
That's what I'm saying. I think this year's their last. I think the Super Bowl was close.
I think that's stuff changes so much. I don't think so because we were saying that thinking Purdy wouldn't be that good, but I think Purdy's a really good quarterback now. So I disagree with that. They've had wonky stuff happen.
Well, my argument is once they pay him, it'll be interesting to see what the roster looks like once you pay him. And I mean,
but we say that about the Chiefs, and we say that about the Bills, and we say that about the Bengals,
and those quarterbacks are superstar quarterbacks. That's a difference.
I know, but we say that about so many people, and I mean, Eagles are paying Hurts, and like they still have a lot of talent. But Hurts isn't even that good. I think Purdy's better than Hurts, and
well, I don't think Hurts' contract is really the big money hasn't. They're paying a lot of money, but the big money hasn't kicked in yet.
I mean, yeah, but all these people get paid in good organizations figure it out. And guess what? The Niners are a really good organization. They'll figure it out.
Let's move on to our next topic, and that is the Chicago Bears against the Carolina Panthers. Caleb Williams in his best game so far as a pro. He's improved each and every week. It's against the Panthers, so I don't want to be too reactionary, but I mean, he looked really 20 of 29, over 300 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. The run game is finally getting going, which I think it's why his play has improved the last few weeks is because they're finally establishing a running game. And defenses are not just going to pin their ears back and rush him. They have to respect the run game. But what was your overall takeaway from this one?
So Panthers side, it's the Panthers are kind of a mess. Leggett got hurt in the game, so he was out, so you lost him. So nothing really on the Panthers side, but I just think that Caleb is progressing how he should. I think people were overreacting at the beginning because he struggled, and I think that was expected. And I think that he's kind of now had a couple nice games under the radar because of Jaden Daniels. But I think it's just good to see this progression. I still think they're leaving stuff on the table, and I still don't like their OC and stuff like that. But I just think that Caleb Williams, he's gonna be good. I think that's kind of like if you didn't think he was gonna be good, it's like come on. But he will be good, and yeah, I think he's progressing well, and he looked really athletic in the pocket. And he was really waiting. He wasn't forcing it. So I really liked what I saw. And I think they have a very interesting game this week against the Jags, and that'll be interesting. And I know, Jags, blah blah, but Jags offense picked it up. We'll see.
Yeah, the Jags offense picked it up, but it was against a pretty bad defense. The Chicago
No, I
defense,
know,
like
but
I'm not a huge Eberflus guy, and I don't know if there is any like huge Eberflus defenders out there. But he's a defensive guy, and the defense has been really good since not since he's taken over because they didn't have the pieces, but like once they got Montez Sweat last year, they've been a really good. Like I think they're top 3, top 5 defense. I don't know where I would put them in the pecking order, but defensively, the thing with Caleb Williams is he's afforded the time to figure things out and slowly progress as this defense kind of carries the load a little bit, and they're going to continue to do that. I wish the Bears didn't get off this slow start because of course we have our personal bet, and I think you're going to end up winning the bet unless Sam Darnold kind of just turns into a pumpkin. But I'm going to hold out my hope because of the defense, because of Caleb Williams. I think one interesting, storyline with the Bears is they don't play a divisional game, I think, until week 10 or week 11. That is a blessing and a curse at the same time. One, you have to win these games early on, and if you don't, then it's going to be tough at the backstretch. The blessing is, though, Caleb Williams is going to continue to get better, and maybe I don't know if I want to say really good quarterback by that time, but he could be a much better quarterback than he is right now in 5-6 weeks. So I think that's also that's like the two angles I'm kind of looking at when looking at their divisional games coming up in a few weeks.
I don't like looking at schedules, but this is nuts. Okay, so they play Jacksonville, then they have a bye, then they have Washington, Arizona, New England. So that's not bad. But then they have Green Bay.
Their offense should be good in those games.
Yeah, but then they have Green Bay, Minnesota, Detroit, San Francisco, Minnesota, Detroit, Seattle, which is fine. Then Green Bay. That sucks.
Now we'll see how much of San Francisco is standing up at that time. I mean, they may be completely. Now I don't think they'll continue with these bad luck.
They're going to be good as long as Purdy's quarterback has a couple weapons. They're going to be good. That's top.
No, I'm not saying that they're going. I'm just let's see what happens because it seems like they've been picking up a huge injury every week.
Oh yeah, but you don't need to say it every time.
No. But yeah, that's like as you said, that's what I'm saying. Like right now they have a pretty light schedule.
Yeah.
But at the back end of that schedule is, and when you play 6 divisional games, and I think it's the best division in the NFL.
Yeah, I don't think that's up for discussion.
By the end of the year, the NFC North could be viewed as the best division. But I mean, it was AFC North and NFC North, the top 2 divisions. But the Browns are 1-4; they're incompetent, and the Bengals I still think are a dangerous team, but their defense is just not good.
Pittsburgh may switch quarterbacks.
Yeah, so I think NFC North right now is probably by far the best division.
Yeah, I don't think that the NFC playoffs is so wild.
Like, are they all right now in the playoff picture right now, or is the Bears?
Yeah, I don't know, but they all 4 can make it, and I think there's 2 teams from the NFC South that can make it. I think that I guess I wouldn't count anyone out from the NFC West, but I just think San Fran makes it and everyone else misses. And then the NFC East, it's like the Giants beat the Bengals. They're in the playoff contention, and the other 3 are. The NFC has literally, I guess, only 2 teams. With Derek Carr's injury, I'm taking out New Orleans. And
Carolina. I was already on Saints before that, but yeah.
Yeah, but if they got Devontae, then they have the Saints. Even though I don't like the trios, and I think Shaheed's good.
The Saints Devontae thing was I never saw with Derek Carr, but I never really saw the overall.
He wanted it.
I know.
He wanted it. He's the superstar receiver. But so there's only 2 teams in the NFC I'm completely taking out of the playoffs. I guess the Giants are or I don't even know because I don't think Arizona makes it. Arizona probably be the next team out, and then Giants rank. I don't know, but NFC is nuts. A little side tangent on who's going to make it.
Let's stick with the NFC, and we'll talk about the Cowboys and Steelers game, the final game we'll talk about from Week 5. I thought, watching this game, and we were watching it together, and I had a bet online, and my fantasy matchup online, it was complete. I was so stressful.
I already had everything fall through, so
Yeah, it was.
Jalen Tolbert saved our dynasty team. We won by 0.2
Yes.
because of that guy.
That game, the stress and just the overall, it was just a bad game. I don't think it was a good game at all. Like, and the game was like delayed by an hour and a half or something like that because of weather. I thought both teams didn't really deserve. Like, whoever came out on top in this game didn't deserve to win. The Cowboys having 3 turnovers, 2 in the red zone. I mean, I think they're very fortunate because if they didn't win, I think their season, it wasn't over, but they had a chance. No. Can you let me just finish? Because of the upcoming schedule, it would be looking pretty daunting right now. But they come up with the win. Dak Prescott comes up clutch, but both his interceptions are ugly. I'm not going to wholly blame on the fumble. I mean, you get crushed by 2 defenders, including T.J. Watt. But the 2 interceptions were just bad decisions.
You see how you said the Texans game when Stroud had the 2 interceptions, both near in the red zone, and you're like, oh, Bills got lucky, but here you're saying Cowboys got lucky
because the Texans, I thought, thoroughly outplayed the Bills for most of the game.
Yeah, I thought the Cowboys thoroughly outplayed Seattle Steelers. I think that's the exact. I think you're just changing your perspective on it. I think that Dak was not great, but I know Dak can be better. But you got Daddle going. I think
I was surprised by their run defense and their run offense. That was 2 things I was very surprised by.
I feel better about Dallas now. Tolbert was good. Still haven't got it going with Lamb, but he's one of the best receivers in football. Ferguson got it going. Defense is pretty good. The defense I took some stuff from, but again, it's Justin Fields and the Steelers.
Well, they lost another pass rusher.
Yeah, and George Pickens was half running routes. So I'm taking more away from the Dallas offense. That I think the offense could pick it up. I think Dak was bad, and they played a great defense. But Tolbert is looking like a legit. He could be a number 2 receiver on a team. Lamb should get better. The running game, Dowdle looked better. So I think my takeaway is I trust their offense more. Their defense, I'm not taking anything away from that. I mean, Pickens was just literally doing like that. The Steelers' offense and Pickens, like Pickens is a good receiver. He's not great. It's like,
well, and his attitude, you would think he was like a top 5 wide receiver because his attitude. He should not be acting the way he's acting.
No, it's ridiculous.
Like he hasn't earned. And like when you watch him, he makes these highlight plays, but you don't really see him play consistently. Like I think he's a great talent and all that, but like
I mean, you remember watching Dwayne Bowe as a kid when we were young kids? We always felt like Dwayne Bowe was making highlight catches, but not making.
Well, he would also drop the easy passes.
Yeah, he did not want to take big hits, but that's kind of how I view Pickens. It's like he's this very talented receiver, but he acts like he's entitled. I mean, at least Stephon Diggs like nearly led the league in receiving sometimes and transformed Josh Allen. At least he did that. It's like I don't know. I feel much worse about the Steelers and their offense because first off, it seems like they may switch to Wilson. Fields isn't looking as good as he did.
I think Fields. If Fields has a bad performance this week, I think they're going to switch to him. Like, and they may switch him regardless. But I think like if you lose to the Raiders, who just lost Christian Wilkins,
that'd be bad. Weeks. I think it's 100% a switch if they lose. And so I feel better about the Cowboys' offense. I guess overall I feel better about them.
Here's the thing. They've scored, and I know Pittsburgh's a really good defense. And this is why I brought the point about if they lost this game, they'd be in big trouble. Their schedule they're not going to win these games. They're not going to win these upcoming games playing like
I'm not talking about them like making playoffs. I just think their offense is going to be better than we previously thought.
I don't feel that great. Like I think their running game got going, and Tolbert was good. And hopefully he turns into a reliable number 2. But you're not going to beat the Lions. This is our upcoming schedule. The next 5 games or so. You have the Lions.
That's not what I'm saying.
Okay, but you have the Lions, San Francisco, Atlanta, Philly. You could probably beat Philly, especially at home. You beat Philly, Houston, and then at Washington. You're not going to win a lot of those games playing the way you are.
That's not what I'm saying. I just think the offense is better than.
But you say you feel much better about Dallas. I don't feel. I
feel better. I didn't say much better. I said I feel better about them overall as a team, and you can win these games. I mean, you can BS wins. They're a team who I think can BS wins, and then you can find themselves like 7-7 with a shot at
So
the division or something.
one,
I don't
two.
feel great about them. I just feel better about the
So
offense.
in their next 6 games, if I had to like just
I
kind of
hate
ballpark it.
exercise.
Okay. In their next 6 games, I think they go 2-4. I think they
I
beat
mean,
Atlanta and they beat Philly.
yeah, you can't tell me that Atlanta is that much better.
No, I don't.
You
No.
can't tell me
That's why I
Philly's
thought them
that
beating
much
Atlanta.
better. They can beat Washington. Washington will still. I like Washington Generals, but I feel like that's on the high of its peak right now. You can BS wins, and I feel like in this division, just BS wins, get yourself to an okay record, and then at the end play better. So yes, I feel better about them because the offense looks better, and Dak is not going to play that bad. Dak was bad. Dak's not going to play that
I know,
bad.
but you're
Yes,
that's also like I've been the
I don't
biggest
feel
Justin.
great. I just feel
No,
better. Why?
But my point is, I've been a big Justin Fields defender. You're not playing Justin Fields these next. Like Justin Fields was bad. You're not going to be
I
playing Justin
know. I
Fields
said I
these
just feel
upcoming
better
games.
about that. I said that, Logan. You're acting like I didn't say those words. I said that. I just feel better about them. That doesn't mean I feel great. I felt bad about them. I feel a little better. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh, I feel a lot worse because I mean that was and their defense did not clutch up at the end. I mean, I think Dallas. I still think they have a great defense, but it was not did not perform well.
Like I think Fields
Yeah,
was pretty awful. But when your number one receiver is not even running routes full, and you have to depend
terrible.
on Calvin Austin, Van Jefferson, and
Fryermuth, yeah, it's not. That's
I
why I
mean
feel
that's not.
worse. I mean,
Yeah.
because they got to figure the Pickens thing out. I don't know. I
Now
mean,
if they trade for Devontae up the coming days, I mean
I would
that'd
be
be very weird.
offering Pickens. I'd be offering Pickens.
What's very weird, like what is Raider? Are the Raiders really going to trade Devontae days before they face the Steelers? Like that's just kind of hard for me to, because they face the Steelers this week. That's kind of hard for me to, and we'll talk about Devontae Adams trade rumor stuff.
I mean, I
here.
think if they have a good offer, I don't think Raiders don't take it. Like, let's say Raiders think they could do a lot with Pickens. I don't think they're going to be like, hey, we're not going to take it because that's weird. No, they're just going to take it. I think the Raiders are going to take their deal when they want to, and I think that's simple.
Do you see the Raiders? Do you see what Tony Pierce said about the quarterback situation?
No, it couldn't have been anything.
He said
good.
they're going to have a competition. They're viewing it as a competition heading into week 6. Like that's such a bad situation. We're having a quarterback competition like situation.
I feel bad for Pierce because if they went and got a quarterback, and I assume it's more the GM than him making that call, especially because it took a while for him to even be named head coach. I mean, that sucks. I still think with the confident quarterback, they could have been a playoff contender, and they don't have a competent quarterback. I still think if you throw people like Flacco out there, Flacco could have got you to the playoffs. Or Daniel Jones, who I think looks a lot better, could have put you in position for the playoffs. So, that sucks for them. But, I feel like the AFC West, this is supposed to be this insane thing. It just will never reach it.
No. It's the Chiefs and everybody else. And I like Chargers and Herbert, but they're just injured.
And the Broncos defense is good, and Bo Nix gets better. So Broncos are always an interesting team.
Let's shift over to our next topic, our next segment, the 5 biggest storylines after 5 weeks. And let's just start with, the huge news yesterday. The Jets fired Robert Saleh. He was reportedly blindsided by the decision. He actually reported to the facilities and then had to be escorted out by security.
I saw someone tweet that he wasn't, but I don't even know at this point.
I mean, that part of the story I'm not reading too much into, but like the fact that he didn't get to tell any of the players. Mm-hmm. He didn't even know that it was a possibility when he showed up to the facilities that morning. I mean, do you think Aaron Rodgers, I think there was a report that he didn't know that he was also surprised by the move. But the timing of the move, I really don't understand. I mean, I know they're struggling. They're 2-3, but you're a game out of the division. And if you beat the Bills this week, you're at the top of the division. I don't understand the move at all. And they keep Hackett, which is why people initially thought Rodgers was behind the move.
I mean, the Jets are weird. They're not going to do anything. Even if they beat the Bills, they're not winning this division.
No, I don't think so either. But my point is, you're in contention. Like the players in that building, right? You're in contention of winning that division. I don't think you end up doing it anyways.
I think they're just a mess. I think the offense is not clicking. Breece Hall, who we thought was a top running back, is doing nothing. Garrett Wilson finally had a good game. I think Rodgers is still a solid, good quarterback, but he's just not Aaron Rodgers anymore. And he's weird person who's wonky and outspoken and kind of
Well,
egotistical and all
his
that.
body language on the field,
No,
it's
yeah,
been like this his entire career, but like every pass that falls incomplete,
yeah.
he's huffing and puffing.
No, yeah.
It's
So
really
that just
irritating to
makes it to
watch.
where the situation is just not going to work. I mean, if you put him in a more stable organization, stable owner, stable management, stable all that, stable line, it could work. But it's just not going to work here. And do I think Saul is a great coach? No. Do I think he should be a head coach? No.
No.
But it's just weird timing. It sounded like he was going to demote Hackett from play calling duties. Ulrich, how do you pronounce it?
Well, they made demote him anyways.
Yeah, that's what Ulrich made demote him anyway. So
Well,
it's
I
a
also
mess.
think Rodgers hasn't been put in a position to succeed as good as Rodgers has been throughout
That's
his
what I'm
career.
saying.
Like he's thrown the ball 96 times the last 2 games. 96 times they draw back with a shaky pass blocking offensive line and a 40-year-old quarterback coming off an Achilles. We're throwing the ball 96 times in 2 games. You have a good defense. You're in close games. Like the Denver game, he threw 42 times, and I think they ran the ball. Let me check that game real quick. They ran the ball. It was like, let's see how many times they ran the ball. 23 times. So you threw the ball 42 times to 23 in a game where it was 10-9. You're at home. You have a really good defense. I think this is all on the offense, really. I don't think Robert Saleh is a head coach, but he's a defensive guy, and you had a top 5-ish defense.
No, yeah, and the defense, like if you're watching Minnesota game, I know they had some PIs, but there's a lot of times Darnold didn't have anyone to throw to because everything was locked up. The rushing game really got shut down without Aaron Jones. I think that's kind of a big deal. Aaron Jones, we'll see how long he's out for Minnesota, but their defense is still really good, even though it's not great against the run.
The pass rush was kind of viewed as a huge question mark, especially with Hassan Reddick holding out and not really reporting to the team. They have 18 sacks, which is fourth in the league. Like that was probably
No,
the biggest question mark on the defense was their pass rush. You knew the secondary would be good.
well, I think their question mark is they can't stop the run well. I mean,
Well, that too,
I
yeah.
think
But
that's
like
the
coming into the
issue.
year, it was like who's going to
Yeah.
be that pass rusher for them, and they've collectively been a really good group. I don't know. I think Solo was a scapegoat.
Yes, he's
And
100% a scapegoat. Or the owner
like
got
Hackett
mad
should
because the
not. I don't
UK.
think Hackett should have any job in any landscape of football. Maybe high school football, but I'm not hiring him to be my college
No,
OC.
he's not.
He's not.
Some of
We
these.
saw him with Denver and Sean Payton, who I think is a jerk, but he said that it was probably the worst coaching job in NFL history. And to be
There's
honest, it's more believable every time you watch this Jets offense. There's no creativity in
there's
this offense.
there's so many great offensive minds in football and the NFL, quarterback coaches, even receiver coaches, tight end coaches, and you have people like him and Shane Waldron with OC jobs. Just like what?
Well, the
Yeah, it's
sad thing is, I think
ridiculous.
Shane Waldron's a way better OC, and I think he's a terrible OC.
Yeah, it's bad, but I mean, we'll see how this affects the Devontae stuff. It's a mess. It's a
Well, I don't
mess.
think this is even, and we'll move on to our next topic here shortly, but I don't think it's that even attractive of a coaching spot. Like, there's rumors of Bill Belichick. I don't know. There's not going to
I think the
be
Belichick thing is more fun than anything because I mean he
yeah, but
doesn't like
I
the
don't see
Jets
I don't see
organization.
like a young offensive minded head coach wanting to be in this situation.
I mean, yeah, but we'll see. It's
When you
yeah,
deal with
you're
the front
not.
office, you deal with the ownership.
You're probably not
I,
getting the Ben Johnson who's being
no,
very particular. Like Ben Johnson's going to take a good job. Like he's going to
I
turn it
forgot to
around.
mention this earlier. Do we think Cincinnati could be I think Zach Taylor could be fired after this year. I really
Oh
do.
yeah,
Like,
I
and Ben
think so
Johnson, I
too.
think that'd be a
I think if
pretty
they don't make the
nice landing
playoffs,
spot.
he's fired. I feel Ben Johnson with Cincinnati would be scary. That'd be scary.
Yeah, I think I don't think I've never thought Zach Taylor was that good of a head coach. I thought Joe Burrow's kind of elevated him a bit, and we've kind of seen since then. Maybe it was pretty fluky what he
Hmm.
achieved. I think it was more Burrow in the offense. Let's move on to our next biggest takeaway from the first 5 weeks. The Vikings 5-0 start, hang to their bye. Then they do have the Lions. I think that game will be a very interesting
That's
game.
such a major game. That may be the most important game of the season yet.
I think they've been very good offensively. Sam Darnold's been really good. I think their reason they're 5-0 is because more about their defense. And we'll see with
Hmm.
Aaron Jones. I mean, Aaron Jones went out of the game and you kind of saw the offense turn to the show itself. And if Jones is out for a significant amount of time, which I don't think he'll be out, 5-6 weeks, but it could be a multi-week injury, and he's had an injury history the last few years. He's always kind of banged up. Is this sustainable? And they're definitely not going to win every game. But do you still believe the Vikings are, or they can keep this up going late into the season? Because I think the biggest question mark is Sam Darnold. I think that's probably the biggest question mark.
I think, biggest question mark is Sam Darnold and Aaron Jones' injury. I think Brian Flores best DC in football. I think, I was big on obviously our bet. That's what I was looking at.
Let's give Spags his respect.
Okay, Spags, my bad. I don't want to disrespect.
He's been doing it for.
That's my bad. Okay, second best DC in football. That's my bad, Spags. We love Spags, but I mean that's what I was huge on. And they have these weapons. They don't have Hawkinson back yet. That's someone who may come back here soon. So I think they're going to be fine. And I literally think it's all about how good is Sam Darnold going to be. I think he's going to have these bad weeks more often, but I don't think they're going to be like an every week thing. But so I think he'll struggle in games like against the Jets with the great defense. But it wasn't like he was terrible. They also played really good defense. And if Aaron Jones is healthy, I think that's even bigger than Sam Darnold. I think Aaron Jones is health. Because Ty Chandler's nice and all, but I think Aaron Jones is just different. He's just a different level. And that's
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that's why I think running backs have been devalued and these older guys are still really good. And I think if Arizona lost Connor, you'd see a drop off, and obviously Henry and people like that. So I think Aaron Jones thing, but I think he may miss 1 or 2 games because they had the bye. That's huge. They had the bye, but I still think they're going to contend for it. I think the Lions are going to win the division because I think the Lions are that good.
I think the Lions just have way more. I think Vikings are very talented, but for me, obviously Justin Jefferson's the best player. He's one of the best players in the league, so he's definitely the best player probably on the team. But I think Aaron Jones is the X factor for this team. When he goes out, the offense kind of sputters a bit. So if he misses multiple games, it's already going to be tough against the Lions to run on him. So if Aaron Jones is out that game, it's going to be pretty tough for the offense to get going. I think that's their first loss of the season, to be honest.
I do too.
Plays out. But yeah, I think the Vikings can't. I still know if I can trust Sam Darnold. We'll keep seeing how he plays. But the trust in Sam Darnold is the thing that kind of worries me about their long-term aspirations.
You know how many picks they have? Their defense, guess the number through 5 games.
Well, it's probably double digits. I'm going to say 13.
11. 13 is a little high, but they have 11. And then they have 19 sacks. That's kind of wild.
They've caused a lot of really good. That's why I was so confident in this Jet. And I know the Jets had a final drive, but even watching that game, I didn't even have if I was a Vikings fan, I wouldn't even been worried on that final drive. Did you think the Jets were going to score on that final drive?
No.
Yeah. So
that pick 6, by the way, by Van Ginkel, who's been great. I mean, Van Ginkel has 3 sacks, 2 pick 6s, and then they also have Greenard with 4 sacks. Pat Jones, a second, who's just come out of nowhere.
And what's his name? Dallas Turner, I don't think's really been getting going yet.
Yeah, let me look. I'm looking at the stats. Dallas Turner. Well, because they have other edge rushers who are playing better. Ivan Pace is a great linebacker. Where's Dallas Turner? Why can't I see his stats? Why am I dumb? I don't know, but he hasn't done a lot. He has 1 sack. So, yeah, their defense is great. But that's been the catalyst. And that's why I thought they'd be so good.
We talked about this earlier, but Devontae Adams, he's probably going to get traded at this point. There's a report, I think on Monday, that they wanted to get it done. The Raiders wanted to get it done within the next 48 hours, which would have been today. I think he's going to get traded this week, but I think if it's the Steelers, they may wait another week to trade him. I know you predict the Steelers. Are you still confident that that's going to be?
I mean, that's still my pick.
Okay.
But I do think the trade, it's been, I think Schefter said it. It's kind of obvious, but Schefter said it. As I don't know if it was a report or just analysis. But with the Jets mix up here now with Saleh, and now the Saints, who was on his wish, no matter what you want to think, it was Jets and Saints top 2 on his wish list.
Yeah.
They are losing Carr for multiple weeks, and that's clearly why he'd want to go there. His rapport and friendship with Derek Carr. I think the Saints are probably kind of off it, and the Jets are in this limbo where maybe he's looking at or maybe that, and now they have so much stuff going on in their organization. Who even knows what they want to do? So now it's really up in the balance. So I think this is going to. I don't think he gets traded this week. I think he'll get traded next week, and I don't think that's
Yeah.
because Steelers and Raiders face each other. I just think because now it's more in limbo, and maybe they have to look back and assess things. But I mean, he's a big fish, and if he goes to a team, it changes the dynamic of that team greatly. You then all of a sudden have one of the top. I don't know where to put him receivers. I still put him top 10, even though.
Yeah, I don't think he's top 5 at this point. Like I think you have
Jefferson,
Jefferson,
Chase,
Tyreek,
CD.
Nico
Collins is probably better.
Dude, Amon-Ra or Devontae. And maybe
take on. I mean, give me Amon-Ra.
Yeah, I think I'm going that direction too.
That'd be a fun exercise.
For me, like outside of being friends with Rodgers and Derek Carr, and that's fine. That's his reasoning if we want to go there. But like football wise, both those situations are not. Like I would not want to go to either of those teams outside of playing with my friend. Which
I think the best football situation is clearly Buffalo if they were interested and he was interested.
Yeah, because well, for me it'd be the Chiefs, but the Chiefs aren't gonna. That's not gonna happen.
Well, yeah, that's just you got to put that out the window.
I mean, I think the Bills would be a great spot. I think Baltimore should be really aggressive in trying to get the receiving core. It's Zay Flowers. Bateman's been a little better, but you don't trust.
That is nice to see. Bateman's been a little better. I was just going to check.
Bateman's also dealt with injuries as well. Like it's no guarantee that he even stays.
No, I know, but he's like not a bad receiver, which is nice to see. I mean, Flowers.
If I'm Baltimore,
Bateman is 202. Baltimore, yeah. I don't think there's needed because you have this best rushing attack in football, and you have the best you have the best runner in football. I'll say that best runner, and Derrick Henry, and then you have the best rushing quarterback ever. So I don't think they need it, but Devontae would be really nice.
But the thing is, and I just want to make this last point, and you can rebuttal if you want. But the thing every year when we talk about the Ravens, which is kind of ironic because they've used multiple first-round picks on receivers the last 5 seasons or so. The biggest question or the biggest knock on them in late in the year is why don't they have a more trustworthy receiving core? Why the receivers led down Lamar, which I don't think is. I think they kind of go hand in hand. Kind of.
It makes it harder on Lamar. It makes it harder.
I think so too, but that's my point. It's you're saying they don't need it, but every year it's what if they have one more receiver?
But here, I think they have a 1. I think, Zay Flowers doesn't have crazy stats, but he had only 10 receiving yards against Buffalo because they ran the ball a ton. 20 against Dallas because they were up a ton and they're just running it. But in the game they're passing it, he has 111. Raiders, they're passing it, he has 91. So I don't think they absolutely need it. I still feel like I'd rather them get a 2, but that's hard to get that specific number 2.
But maybe Zay Flowers is even better if you have Devontae Adams there.
I mean, maybe so, but I think you don't want to change the offense because now you're running this multiple tight end stuff a lot, and you saw Kohler.
I don't think we changed the offense that much. They're still throwing it at a high clip.
No, yeah, but I mean, you just want to make sure it doesn't fully take away. So I think if Ravens trade, they have to make sure it's Derrick Henry is still him and Lamar, and then it goes to them.
Next topic, and I think they're the worst team to watch.
No, there's not a team worse.
And you could make an argument for Miami without Tua right now.
At least Tyreek Hill gets to do something cool and Waddle and
but the Browns are screwed. I don't know how they get out of this situation. I think if it wasn't for the contract, if it wasn't for the huge cap hit that they would have to take on, Deshaun Watson had already been benched. I think weeks ago. I think 2-3 weeks ago he was already
terrible. I mean, I know he's not
watching videos of the all 22s and all that. There are receivers wide open, and he's actually looking at the receiver wide open and doesn't throw it. I
think this is what happens when you lose confidence and you don't play for 2 years. I think it's that simple. You lose confidence. He's probably I know we villainize him a lot, and we're probably doing rightly so, but just taking that away, it's he's so hated. That's playing a mental part. He knows this. He can't get away from it probably. So that's just in his head. No matter what you want to think of him, that is in his head. He's human. And he hasn't played, and he didn't play for 2 years, and he's been hurt. I mean, it's just a mess. I don't know why I picked him up. I mean, that was stupid. I need a quarterback. I was like, everyone said he looked good on film against the Raiders.
And I was trying to tell you, I could care less about what people were saying. Because he still threw for under 200 yards against a Raiders defense. And I know that.
I mean, he did have touchdowns taken away.
Yeah, I know.
He's not being helped either. That also sucks. Judy dropped.
Like when I watched Deshaun, there's nothing impressive that he does.
No, I know, it's bad.
Every time he completes a pass, it's to a non-moving target that's running a hitch route. And I know I've said that multiple times to you, but it's just like I'm watching a guy just throw 8-yard curl routes.
No, yeah, it's bad, and he's not being helped. I've seen Amari Cooper drop. Amari Cooper caused his pick against the Raiders. That was terrible. Judy has dropped. It seems like whenever he throws a great pass, Judy's been doing well, but whenever Deshaun makes a great pass to Judy, I swear 2 or 3 times Judy's dropped like the best passes from Deshaun. So it's just done. It's just done. I don't know what to do. I mean, there's a part of you that has to think like, let's just take the cap hit, trade everything. I know we're in cap hell.
$172 million dead cap. You
ship everything off. And just start the whole organization over again. But you can't do that if you're Cleveland Browns. You put these fans through hell enough. It sucks. It just sucks. It sucks to watch. Sucks to be a Browns fan. I would hate to be a Browns fan. That I don't think there's a worse team to be a fan of in football right now. And it just sucks because it looked like they had something. I still like their head coach. But they're a mess. I mean, they couldn't even get the right number of players on the field that one time. I mean, they just got slaughtered.
Here's the thing. Deshaun, I think he's just a crappy dude. Like, he walked, like, the 4th and goal, he just walks off the field, even though Fancy wants to go for it.
No, okay, I think on that one, as I just said, they had 12 players on the field, and they weren't calling another timeout. It was just done. It wasn't happening. I don't think that one's on him. That one was probably on the assistant coaches. But, yeah, it's done. Poor Browns fan. Like, I'd rather be a Raiders fan.
I don't think the head, like, Stefanski didn't want him. And their GM didn't want him. I think this is all ownership.
I mean, yeah, we say that all the time, and I think that's.
But I don't think the GM is giving. I don't think the GM is giving him a fully guaranteed contract. I think that came from the ownership.
These owners have a lot of control, just like with the Jets, and the Jets owner clearly has control. I mean, yeah, it's a mess, and like I would think, like if I was owner, which would be awesome, I would probably have some control, but I think I know what I'm talking about. But these owners probably feel like they think they know what they're talking about because they're rich billionaires who are at the top of the world. So
have you noticed the more the owner is involved, the more chaotic the team is?
No, yeah, I think that's
like the Chiefs. You never hear anything about Clark Hunt making decisions with the team. It's all Brett Veach and Andy Reid. So maybe Jerry Jones should, he's not changing. He's not going to change. No.
And he's probably the best at it of the super involved owner because at least like he's made a lot of good draft picks. Like you got to give him that, and like he did have like these. His son was his guardrail, like, hey, we're not drafting Johnny Manziel, and so like obviously he has it, but he's probably been the best at it, which is saying something. So yeah, it's a mess. Poor Browns fans. It sucks.
Last main takeaway, I think this has probably been the most fun storyline to watch first outside the Vikings, but I mean Jane Daniels. I don't know if they ever give. I think there's only been one rookie that's won the MVP, and we'll see if this lasts. I mean, we've seen it.
Yeah,
it's tough for me to envision their defense being this bad and not being an Achilles heel at some point. But right now they're 4-1 in a pretty. I would probably it's not the weakest division, but it's definitely bottom 3. I think.
I don't know if it's. I just think there's no top dog.
Like AFC West is worst. I would probably say NFC. Is NFC South worse? Probably.
Yeah.
But to me, like, we always have arguments about the Eagles and Cowboys. I
think both East is not good.
You say NFC East or AFC East?
AFC East.
Like I think the Cowboys and Eagles are incredibly flawed. The Giants, I mean, Dan Jones has been solid, but they still have major holes at big spots on their team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think this division's wide open. And if you tell me the Commanders split, like they go 3-3 in divisional games, just do that at least. I probably feel pretty good about their chances of winning this division because right now they have 4 wins. That would be 7. But I think they could, I think they could sweep the Giants. We'll see. And I think they could definitely split games between the Eagles and Cowboys.
I do think the Eagles win this division because I do think the Eagles haven't been able to have their A.J. Brown and that's huge. And Devontae Smith was hurt. I think the Eagles win this division at like 10-7. But I mean, if Jane Daniels keeps playing like this, I do think he'll have somewhat of a regression because
Yeah.
I just think that's natural. Like I even think like Stroud was great last year, but Stroud like he lost to the Panthers and Bryce Young. Like so these
Wasn't that game
things
like 13-6 or something like that? I swear it was like a really
no,
low
no,
scoring game.
Panthers hit a game-winning field goal at the last second. I think I
Okay.
bet on Panthers and I was like really big and you were like, "Luke, that's stupid." And then Panthers won. But I mean, yeah, he's been awesome. He's been awesome. He's starting to McLaurin. McLaurin is finally looking like something, but I still think he's not like this superstar receiver. And so, like, he doesn't have a superstar receiver, but he's making McLaurin finally have a good year. Zach Ertz is solid. He's thrown to Noah Brown, Zacchaeus, Luke McCaffrey, Dwame Brown. I mean, Dwame Brown. I think I messed it up because Kwame Brown.
Diami Brown.
Yeah, I think that's why I said like Kwame. But I mean, he's been great, and I liked him. I liked him a couple of years ago, but then in this draft, I think Caleb's gonna be a superstar, and I really like Drake May. So he was my third, but I still liked him as my third. But now it's like he's winning Rookie of the Year. I mean, he's overshadowing Caleb getting better. Now we have Drake May coming in, and like that makes it more interesting. Bo Nix is, he's been all right. No McCarthy this year, probably no Penix this year, but I mean, he's a top 10 quarterback already, and I feel confident saying that. I mean, make all the throws. He's one of the fastest quarterbacks in the game. He hasn't taken too many hits. He's been phenomenal.
It's very. He reminds me a lot of Lamar. Like I know that was his comp coming up, but like the avenues in which he escapes a sack, and he has a thin frame, so it may be easier for him. But he just like slides through pressure,
Yeah,
really easily.
Yeah, it's effortlessly.
Yeah, he's a very good quarterback. I know in college I kind of had my doubts a little bit, especially it was like 2 or 3 years. I think it was like 2 years ago we were watching LSU. I'm like, man, this guy is. I don't like. I know he was viewed, but as NFL prospect and all, but I was like, man, he's small and like this. He's been way more accurate than I thought he was going to be. Like I did not see this coming. I know he's the number 2 pick, but I thought Washington this would be kind of a growing pain year, and there will be growing pains at some point. But they've jumped out of the gates on fire.
I mean,
so they're 4-1.
Yeah, they started off, got whooped by Tampa.
Like I think they end up finishing. If I said it, I think they end up finishing second in this division.
Yeah, I'm picking Eagles just because I think
Eagles
Brown,
have way more talent,
Devontae
and I
Smith,
think their offense will.
Barkley, Goddard, Hurts is still a solid quarterback. Still have to count a lot. I don't even know about the Eagles defense, but yeah, it's so unexpected. I mean, Washington and Vikings are the two. Like what? I feel like everyone picked Washington to make the playoffs, which I thought was stupid. Now I'm not stupid, but no one saw this. No one saw this.
No. Let's move to week 6 now, and we'll make our week 6 picks as we do each and every week. I think we had the same money line record from last. I went 8-6 on money line, 7-7.
Yeah, so did I. And then 7-1-6 against the spread. So far in the season, I'm 38-24 on money line and 35-2-25 on spread. So
yeah, week 1 and week 2, I don't really want to talk about it, but that's the reason my record's so bad. I'm 31-31 in money line. Or sorry, week 2 and week 3. I'm 31-31 right now, which is, but we've improved each and every week, so we're kind of like Caleb Williams. So hopefully, we keep that up.
I actually had a bad week too, so
yeah. Let's move into our week 6 picks. First game of the week tomorrow night: 49ers at Seattle. The 49ers are 3.5-point favorites.
The Niners had a lot of BS, and I think they get a win. -3.5 Niners. I feel really good about it. They're just a better team. They have better quarterback, better weapons. Weapons are kind of close, actually. But yeah, I like the Niners in this one. They've had a lot of just like even like the pick 10, the game against the Cardinals, like Purdy's arm got slightly hit and it put the ball way up. It's just weird stuff is happening to them. So I think they bounce back, but they cover here nicely.
Yeah, these Thursday night games are always kind of weird. I have 49ers as well, and I also have them covering. I just think the Seattle's run defense is. I mean, we saw the Giants kind of manhandle them on both sides of the ball on both offensive and defensive line. and I still think they'll be missing those pieces on the defensive line. I think 49ers are just going to run all over this Seahawks. I don't think Brock Purdy even has to be that good in this game. I think they're going to lean on the run game. Defense just has to make enough plays, and I don't really trust Geno Smith. Before the year, I like Seattle. I didn't have them in the playoffs, which after 3 weeks, it kind of looked like a pretty bad pick for me because I had Bears in the playoffs and Seattle not. But I mean, this could be their third straight loss. I think it will be an interesting game. I mean, I could see Seattle covering like a backdoor cover or potentially just competing this game because the 49ers have so many injuries. But I'm going to trust the 49ers in a spot against a pretty bad defense.
Yeah, I don't think Seattle is that good.
It's just tough to trust Geno Smith, and their defense has not been. They've had injuries on defense, and I think they have some talent on defense, but I think next year is when you're going to probably see them be a much better group if they add more pieces to it. Another London game this week. I think it's going to be it's actually a very interesting game now with the Jaguars winning last week. Jacksonville against Chicago. Chicago, now they're 2-point favorites, but last night they were 2.5 when I did these picks, but still same difference.
Yeah, I did 2.5 well, and I have the Bears. I'm not betting this game. I won't touch the spread or money line because I think now Trevor Lawrence has confidence. I think that's the biggest thing. He gained confidence, but I'm going to take Bears. I like better defense, better team. Caleb's doing better, but Jacksonville does kind of have a comfort in London, so I'm not touching it, but I'm picking Bears, but I don't like it.
I like Bears in this spot. I could definitely see Jacksonville kind of shocking some people and winning this game, but I think Bears defense is a way different beast than the Colts defense, and I think Caleb Williams, Jacksonville's defense is not that good. I mean, they gave up 34 to Joe Flacco, who I think has been a really good starting. He was really good to end the season last year.
Yeah,
but for his first start, for him to score 34 points, and Jaguars are up 34-20 in that game. I like the Bears in this spot. I'm like you. I may not bet it, but I'm going to trust that defense, and I think Caleb Williams will continue to progress. If he stays on trajectory he is now, I mean, we may see another really good game from him. So I like the Bears in this one. Cardinals at the Packers. Packers are favored by 5.
Yeah, now I'm looking at FanDuel. It's 5.5, but I did it 5. I'm picking Packers and Cardinals to cover. The Packers defense I don't fully trust yet, but I don't expect Kyler to have 2 good back-to-back wins. But I think they'll cover. So Packers, money line, Cardinals spread. Weird game. It'll just be a weird game. No matter what, it'll be weird.
I have the same exact pick. I have Packers winning. Cardinals, it's really like Kyler Murray. I think they've scored on every first possession in every game. So Kyler Murray is very good when on script, on their first 15 scripted plays. But after that, it's just I don't know what. It's just like he's trying to force things.
Yeah, I don't know.
He gets away from his mechanics a little bit. Packers, I'm probably much like I don't know where you stand on Jordan Love. I mean, I think there's a possibility, and I think he's a good quarterback. But there's a possibility he's somewhat of a system guy because Malik Willis,
agreed.
And even last year when I was watching Jordan Love, like I thought it was very impressive what he did the last 10 weeks or so. But he was throwing to a lot of wide open receivers. Like I think the scheme really elevates Love.
I think he's good, but I don't think he's great.
And he's made stupid decisions. Like even that pass he completed last week to Jaden Reed that got tackled the one. Jaden? I said Jaden.
Yeah. I don't know why I said it. My bad, bro.
Okay. I mean that probably shouldn't have picked. There's 3 defenders and they misplayed the ball.
That was Jaden Reed's really good though. He's good.
And I think Malik Willis looking as good as he did kind of takes away from what Love is. I think he can definitely be somewhat of a system quarterback.
Most quarterbacks are.
Next game, Colts at Titans. Colts -1. The Colts have won, I believe. Were they 0-3? No, they were 0-2, but they have won two of the last 3 games.
I got Titans in this one. I think it'll be an ugly one. Titans had the bye week. They got the win against Dolphins, even though it was that impressive. Will Levis got hurt. Mason Rudolph was in. Got the job done. Didn't have to do much. But I still don't trust the Colts. Obviously, that defense. And I'm assuming Anthony Richardson's going to play. If Flacco's playing, I think I'd pick Colts. But I think it's Anthony Richardson. I don't trust him. Give me Titans. And I think that there will be some I know it's already been like, oh, we should talk about it. But there'll be some interesting Richardson Flacco combos.
It's so tough picking Colts games because you don't know what the quarterback situation is going to be. I think Flacco plays. I think they just wanted to make sure Richardson's 100% healthy because if he goes and plays and then gets hurt again, I mean, you're kind of some lingo. I think Flacco plays, and I think they win because Flacco's playing. I'll trust the Colts in a spot. I just don't trust Will Levis, and I don't know even how healthy Will Levis is right now. I know it's like AC joint injury because he's stupidly Superman dive for. He's just not.
He has heart. You gotta give him that. He has heart. He's heart.
That's great. Carson Wentz did too, and he was a turnover machine. And that's why he's a backup now. He's not a smart player. I'll take the Colts. But yeah, if Richardson's playing, I don't know. That'd be a much tougher pick for me. Next game, Texans at the Patriots. Texans are favored by 7.
I mean, Drake May. I'm big on Drake May, but first game, this is not really the team you want to face. This kind of sucks. This sucks. You do not want to face the Texans. I mean, I guess the Texans' pass defense isn't like insane or anything. I mean, they did
but that pass rushing offensive line.
Yeah, but they let Jacksonville. So yeah, I have Texans covering. I don't think there's much discussion. I'm excited to see Drake May, but God bless him.
I have Texans covering as well. Rookie making his first start. I don't see him having a lot of success with those weapons and behind the offensive line.
Yeah.
Next game, and I was so close to betting this on Monday night or on Sunday before the game started, kind of jumping ahead into week 6 bets. Buccaneers at the Saints. The Bucs were underdogs, and now they are favored by 3.5 because of Derek Carr's injury.
I mean, yeah, I like Tampa to win and cover. I probably would have picked them to win if Derek Carr played. So now that he's out, I'm going to pick them to cover. I mean, this is one of those where now it's like the Spencer Rattler surprise everyone if he plays, but I don't even know if he's going to start. It may be, what's his name?
He played last game. Hold on.
Yeah. Hainer. And he was 2 for 7, but I thought he looked fine. I mean, he made like a nice throw to, was it Olave or I don't know. And it got dropped, but I think he looked fine. So it'll be interesting to see who starts. But yeah, just going to take Tampa with all the unknowns.
Yeah, I think Tampa, they played last Thursday, so extra time to prepare. Their offense looks really good. I don't think Saints are going to keep up in this one. I'll take the Bucs to win and cover. Next game, I don't think needs much discussion in terms of money line, but spread is.
Eagles are beating Browns.
Yeah, Eagles, Browns at Eagles. Spread's 8.5. Philly minus 8.5.
I have Browns covering, and I don't like it. And I don't want to talk about it.
You're doing it again.
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to.
I had Browns. I think covering last week. I had them losing.
I don't want to talk about it. You could talk. I'm not going to talk about it.
I have Eagles winning and covering. The reason I feel like this could be a really bad game for Deshaun. Philly fans are ruthless. Like they're gonna be ruthless. I think the Eagles cover 8.5. And I don't even think their defense is even that good. But you saw Washington's defense not that good. Give up 13 points. And the Browns have not scored 20 points in a game all year.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I think Eagles, you're getting A.J. Brown back. You're getting Devontae Smith back. You're off a bye. And I think Cleveland, some of the players I think are just kind of done with this crap. And
they may have Nick Chubb back.
I still don't care.
I know.
It's terrible. I'll take Eagles minus 8.5. Next game, Commanders at the Ravens. The Ravens are favored by 6.5.
So I have Ravens winning. I have Ravens covering too. I think this is a big Ravens game. This Washington defense was thought to be bad, but then it's kind of played well. I think the defense is about to get destroyed, and I think Daniels will have a fine game and not get massacred. But I think Ravens. I know that I never bet it, but like highest scoring team of the week. I think I like Ravens to drop like.
Is that thing you bet on?
Yeah, I've never done it, but I've seen the bets.
I've never done it.
Yeah, it's like in weekly specials. Let me see if it's on FanDuel right now, if they actually have it. Okay, it's not there yet, but they may have it later. I'm going to pay attention to that. I think Ravens dropped like a 40 bomb. So I got Ravens covering.
I have Ravens winning by Commanders covering this one. Lamar's really good against NFC teams, and I think part of that is because teams can't really prepare for him because they don't have a quarterback like him in their team. But Jane Daniels, they get to prepare against Jane Daniels each and every week in practice. And I think this is more like a backdoor cover. I think Baltimore should be having pretty much full command in this one, but I could see fourth quarter, Jane Daniels kind of turning on, or, third, fourth quarter, they kind of hang around. But I think this one's more about a backdoor cover. So I'll take the Ravens, but the Commanders cover the spread. The first of the 3:00 slate games, that's where we're starting now. Chargers at Broncos. Chargers are -3.
So I think this is, I've been big on the Broncos, but this is, what was the phrase I used?
Letdown, regression.
No, like when I picked Denver to beat Tampa.
Well, you said whatever. Did you say Tampa letdown spot or something like that?
No, it was because Tampa wasn't gonna go 3-0.
Denver vibes?
Wasn't go. Not vibes, but also just math adding up. There's a phrase I used and I really liked it and I forgot it. But
back to the mean or return to the mean or
not mean, but damn it.
I know what you're talking about. I just can't really think of the phrase right now.
Yeah, I can't think of the phrase either right now. It makes me upset. But yeah, so I don't think Broncos win another game in a row. I don't think they're going to be 4-2. And Chargers had a bye week. Herbert should be healthier. We'll see about the tackles. Derwin James playing. We'll see about Bosa.
They said Bosa and Slater were both working on the side of practice yesterday. So they said it's pretty optimistic that they'll play this week. I don't know if Joe Alt's going to be playing though. But if you get Slater and Bosa back, and you'll get Derwin James back,
it'll be an ugly game. But I got Chargers to win and cover.
I have Chargers to win and cover as well. I'm kind of on the same wavelength as you. I don't see the Broncos being 4-2 and basically having a 2-game lead for the second spot in the AFC West. It is tough though because Chargers, Denver's a tough place to play and they're playing really good defense. But I think Chargers off the bye, I think you're going to lean on the run game, and Herbert's just going to limit mistakes, which I think the past 2 weeks you've seen Denver play teams, especially the Raiders. That Denver was very fortunate that they didn't go down 17-3 in that game. Gardner Minshew gifted them a pick 6, and I don't think Herbert's going to do that. So I'll take Chargers and the spread in that one as well. Steelers at Raiders. I think this is a very interesting game. I already bet on the Steelers in this one last week. The Steelers are favored by 3, but things could turn. I'm interested to see if Russell Wilson. I think this is the first week he'll be active because he hasn't been active at all.
Yeah. Give me Steelers -3. Raiders just lost Christian Wilkins, so I think this kind of you're just looking at it as hopefully nothing stupid happens. Betting Steelers -3, and I think they'll be okay. So I got Steelers.
I got Steelers as well. I think they'll probably run the ball on the Raiders, and I don't trust the Raiders' offense at this point. So I'll take Steelers and the points. Next game, Lions at the Cowboys. The Lions are favored by 3.
I got Lions at 3.5. That's when I got it, but I'll take Lions -3.5.
Okay, it is 3.5. I'm looking at it now. It changed.
But I got it last night 3.5. But they're Lions. They had a bye week. Cowboys, I said they like their offense better, but their defense is not that good. So Lions are also in contention to drop the most points this week. I'm still going to take Ravens to do that, but yeah, Lions -3.5.
Yeah, I think Lions. I think they may run for over 150 yards in this one. I think they've committed to the run the last few weeks, and they have David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, probably the best running back tandem in the league. So I don't really trust, and I don't think the Cowboys will get the run game going like they did last week. The Lions are one of the best rush defenses in the league, but yeah, I like the Lions at spot. Cowboys have been bad defensively at home for the last few games that they've had. So I like the Lions a lot in this spot. Falcons at Panthers. The Falcons are favored by 6.
So I have Falcons winning, but I call in a Panthers backdoor cover. I think Leggett will be healthy. Jalen Coker, Panthers rookie receiver, look kind of good. So receiving weapons could be pretty solid, and I don't trust the Falcons defense. Falcons offense is looking a lot better, but this should be a high scoring one, I think, and maybe 34, 29, 30 or something like that. 32.
You think Panthers putting 30 points on the board?
I don't know. Maybe 20.
That is tough to envision.
28 to 24 or something. Panthers offense looked pretty good. Not at last week, but that's against a pretty good defense. But Falcons win, Panthers cover.
I have the same pick. I mean, the Falcons have won. Each of the 3 wins have come on the final possession. Like I don't really trust the Falcons on either side of the ball. I trust them more on offense because they've been good, but to consistently, play good football, I don't trust the Falcons that much. But I'll take them to win. I just think Panthers cover in this one. The first of the primetime games Sunday night. This is actually a very interesting game, especially for us too. I know we've been we had our Dan Jones arguments, we've had Bengals arguments. Bengals at the Giants.
I just did
the
not.
The Bengals are favored by 3.5.
I think I did not write this down for some stupid reason. Let me write it down real quick. We have had our arguments, but the Bengals offense is feeling it, coming off of Ravens' loss. I think it will be close, but I do have Bengals covering 3.5. I do like them, but Daniel Jones keep it close. Daniel Jones beat Seattle. No Neighbors, no Singletary. He threw some dots to Slate in. So big, and the Bengals defense sucks. So this is another high-scoring one. Should get some high-scoring football this week again. But I like Bengals covered, but not. I want to bet the spread because I think Giants keep it close.
Yeah, I have Bengals winning, but Giants covering, which I never thought I would say at all.
Wow.
But I think Giants at home. You get League Neighbors back. Even if you don't get Singletary back, I like Tyrone Tracy a lot. He was really good last week. 18 carries, 129 yards. I just don't trust the Bengals defense. I mean, they do not force punts. So I think as long as Daniel Jones if he just takes care of the ball, I think they'll have a good shot to stay in this game. And this could be a backdoor cover. Like I could see the Bengals up by 10 late in the fourth, and the Giants score a touchdown to make a 3-point game and possibly have an onside kick. But yeah, I like Bengals to win, Giants cover.
The Giants secondary just sucks. If the pass rush can be really good, that's how they win this game. Pass rush needs to continue. Dexter
and I don't know what
Lawrence
Kayvon Thibodeau's health. We'll see what he does in practice today. But I know he was hurt against Seattle.
Yeah.
Last game that we'll talk about in the Week 6 slate, Monday night, Bills at the Jets. The Bills are favored by 2.5.
I like Bills bounce back. I think she gets Shakir back. I think the Jets are a mess. I think for me it's pretty simple. I know Josh Allen has played great against the Bills in the past, but or against the Jets in the past, but I think that stuff, it comes and goes. So I like Bills pretty confidently here.
Yeah, Josh Allen in his 11 career games against the Jets has 2,500 passing yards, 12 touchdowns, and 11 picks, and a passer rating of 81.5. So he struggles against them. Interim coaches, they have a lot of success in their first game coaching, but I can't trust the Jets right now. I just can't. So and if the Bills lose, I think they have there's gonna be a lot of question marks surrounding them. But I'll trust Josh Allen. I'll trust a better quarterback. And if they get some pieces back, they should have a good chance of winning this game. But I'll take the Bills. Probably an ugly game. I mean, I can see this game being 20-17, something like that. But I'll take the Bills to cover. Well, that will do it. Unless you have anything else you want to add before we close out this week's episode.
No, I think we're good. All
right. Well, with that being said, that will do it for our episode today. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Spotify, leave any comments or anything like that in the comment section below of recommendations you want us to talk about. We're always open to suggestions. But until then, we'll see you guys next week, and we'll have another, hopefully, pretty good week of football.
Peace.